I want to start with a question. What is the first thing you think about when you wake up? For most people, it's something like, oh, another day, or I'm so tired, or I have so much to do. And the problem is, whatever mindset we wake up with, that's what we carry into the rest of the day. Now imagine waking up with a different thought. Instead of I have to, what if you woke up thinking, I get to? I get to go to work. I get to spend time with my family. I get to make a difference. It's a simple shift, but it changes everything. Because when we operate from a place of gratitude, our brain actually rewires itself. We stop seeing obstacles as burdens and start seeing them as opportunities. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I met a Navy SEAL, one of the most disciplined and resilient people on the planet. I asked him, how do you keep going when things get tough? He smiled and said, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our habits. And that hit me hard because so many of us wake up every day hoping today will be better, but hope is not a strategy. Imagine waking up in the morning, groggy, still half asleep, and the first thought that crosses your mind is, oh, another long day ahead. Maybe you check your phone, see a flood of emails and messages, and immediately feel the stress creeping in. You think about all the things you have to do, meetings, deadlines, responsibilities, and before you've even stepped out of bed, you're already exhausted. Now let's shift that perspective for a moment. Instead of saying, I have to get up and go to work, what if you said, I get to go to work today? Instead of I have to exercise, imagine saying, I get to take care of my body today. Instead of I have to take the kids to school, try thinking, I get to spend time with my children today. This one small shift from I have to I get to might seem insignificant, but it has the power to completely change your outlook on life. Why? Because the way we frame our experiences determines how we feel about them. Think about it. When you say, I have to, it implies burden, obligation, something forced upon you. It carries a sense of duty rather than desire. But when you say, I get to, it implies privilege, opportunity, something to be grateful for. It turns the same task into something positive. Let's put this into perspective with a real-life example. There are countless people in the world who wish they had a job to wake up to. There are those who would give anything to be healthy enough to exercise. Some parents would do anything for just one more moment with their children. What we often take for granted is something that someone else is desperately praying for. Gratitude is not just a feel-good idea. It's backed by science. Studies have shown that people who actively practice gratitude experience lower levels of stress and depression, sleep better, and even have stronger immune systems. When you start your day by recognizing what you get to do, you are rewiring your brain to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. Instead of dreading the day ahead, you begin to see it as a gift. Of course, this doesn't mean life will always be easy. There will still be tough days, setbacks, and moments of frustration. But shifting your mindset doesn't eliminate challenges. It simply gives you the resilience to face them with a more positive outlook. Imagine two people waking up to the same circumstances. One groans, hits snooze, and starts the day reluctantly, dragging themselves through their tasks. The other wakes up, takes a deep breath, and says, I get to make the most of this day. Which person do you think will have a better experience? Which one will feel more fulfilled by the time the day ends? The difference is choice, and the good news is this is a choice you can make every single morning. It doesn't require money, resources, or special skills. It only requires awareness. The awareness to catch yourself in those moments of negativity and intentionally shift your perspective. So tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off and you feel that urge to groan, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, I don't have to do this. I get to do this. Because life is not an obligation, it's an opportunity. We often think that success comes from a single massive breakthrough, a life-changing moment, an overnight transformation, or one big decision that alters everything. But the truth is, success is not built in a day, it is built daily. It is not about setting high goals alone, but about the small, consistent actions that create long-term change. There is a powerful saying, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our habits. What this means is that no matter how ambitious we are, we will always default to the systems and routines we have in place. If our habits support growth, discipline, and consistency, we will naturally move forward. But if our habits are filled with procrastination, distraction, and inconsistency, then no matter how much we want success, we will struggle to achieve it. Consider this. Two people might set the exact same goal. Let's say they both want to become healthier. One person signs up for a gym, buys new workout clothes, and gets excited about the idea of transformation. But after a few days, they lose motivation and slowly go back to their old ways. The other person, however, starts small, maybe just 10 minutes of exercise each morning. It doesn't feel like much at first, but they stay consistent. Over time, those 10 minutes turn into 20, then 30, and eventually they build a lifestyle around health and fitness. Who will be healthier a year from now? It's not the person who had a big goal but didn't stick to the process. It's the one who built strong habits. This principle applies to everything in life, whether it's personal growth, career success, relationships, or mental well-being. People who excel in their fields don't necessarily have more talent, intelligence, or luck. What they have are habits that allow them to keep growing, learning, and improving every single day. Take a look at the most successful athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders in the world. Their achievements are not the result of one lucky break, but rather years of deliberate, disciplined effort. They wake up with purpose. They practice even when they don't feel like it. They follow routines that help them become the best version of themselves. The problem is, most people rely on motivation alone. Motivation is great. It feels exciting and gives us a boost of energy, but motivation is temporary. It comes and goes depending on how we feel. And if we only act when we feel motivated, we'll never be consistent. Habits, on the other hand, don't rely on feelings. When something becomes a habit, you do it whether you feel like it or not. You don't think twice about brushing your teeth every morning. It's just part of your routine. Imagine if working on your goals became just as automatic. Imagine if exercising, reading, journaling, or focusing on personal growth became a daily habit, not just something you do when you feel inspired. Building strong habits starts with small, sustainable actions. If you want to be more productive, don't try to overhaul your entire schedule overnight. Start with 5 focused minutes of deep work. If you want to be more mindful, start with a single deep breath before checking your phone in the morning. If you want to build better relationships, start with a daily message of appreciation to someone you care about. Small actions might not seem like much in the moment, but over time they compound into massive results. The key is consistency. The difference between successful people and those who struggle is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It's the ability to show up and put in the work day after day, even when it's hard. So, if you want to change your life, don't just set big goals. Build the habits that will take you there. Because at the end of the day, we don't become what we wish for, we become what we repeatedly do. Gratitude is one of the most powerful yet overlooked tools for happiness and success. It has the ability to transform our mindset, reshape our perspective, and even improve our overall well-being. And the best part? It takes just a few seconds each day to practice. Imagine waking up in the morning and before even getting out of bed, pausing for a moment to think about one thing you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be something extraordinary. It could be as simple as the warm sunlight coming through your window, the fact that you have a bed to sleep in, or the people in your life who care about you. That single thought, that small moment of gratitude has the power to set the tone for your entire day. Most of us, however, don't start our mornings this way. Instead, we wake up and immediately check our phones. We scroll through emails, social media, or news updates, and before we even have a chance to breathe, our minds are flooded with stress, comparison, and anxiety. We start the day feeling like we're already behind, Like there's too much to do and not enough time. And because we begin the day in this rushed, overwhelmed state, we carry that energy with us throughout the day. But what if instead of reaching for our phones first thing in the morning, we reached for gratitude? What if before we even stepped out of bed, we acknowledged something positive in our lives? This small shift may seem insignificant, but research shows it has profound effects on our mental and physical health. Studies in psychology and neuroscience have found that practicing gratitude can rewire our brains for positivity. When we actively focus on things we're grateful for, we train our minds to look for the good in every situation. Over time, this strengthens neural pathways associated with happiness and resilience, making us naturally more optimistic and emotionally strong. Gratitude also reduces stress and anxiety. When we focus on what we have instead of what we lack, we shift away from a scarcity mindset and move towards abundance. We stop fixating on problems and start seeing opportunities. And when we're in a state of gratitude, our brains release serotonin and dopamine, neurotransmitters responsible for feelings of happiness and relaxation. It's like giving ourselves a natural boost of positivity every morning without needing external validation or motivation. But gratitude isn't just about improving our mood, it also has the power to change our behavior. When we start our day feeling thankful, we naturally become more patient, kind, and understanding towards others. We become more present in our interactions, more appreciative of the little moments, and more resilient in the face of challenges. Let's take a simple example. Imagine two people who wake up to the same set of circumstances. Both have a busy schedule, responsibilities to handle, and unexpected challenges to face. The first person starts their day by immediately thinking about all the things that could go wrong, feeling overwhelmed before they even begin. The second person, however, takes a moment to reflect on something they're grateful for, even if it's just the opportunity to experience another day. Who do you think will have a better, more productive day? Who will be more equipped to handle stress? Who will be more likely to see solutions instead of problems? The difference isn't in their circumstances, it's in their mindset. Gratitude is a choice. And the best part? It's free, it's simple, and it only takes a few seconds to practice. So tomorrow morning, before you do anything else, take a deep breath and say thank you. Thank you for this day, for this moment, for the opportunities ahead. Start with one thing you appreciate and let that feeling guide you into the day. Because the way you start your morning determines the way you live your life. And a life built on gratitude is a life well lived. Every morning, before the day takes over, before the emails, the meetings, the deadlines, and the chaos, there is a quiet moment where you have a choice to decide not just what you want to do today, but who you want to be. Most people wake up and immediately get swept into their routines. They check their phones, rush through breakfast, and jump straight into work mode, reacting to whatever demands come their way. They move through the day without a clear intention, simply responding to the circumstances around them. And by the time the day ends, they wonder why they feel exhausted, unfulfilled, or frustrated. But imagine waking up and taking just a few moments to set your intention for the day. Imagine pausing and asking yourself, how do I want to show up today? Not just in terms of what you need to get done, but in terms of the kind of person you want to be. This small practice can make an enormous difference because the truth is, success is not just about achievement, it's about alignment. It's about making sure that your actions align with your values, your goals, and the person you truly want to become. Let's break this down. When you set an intention in the morning, you're giving yourself a direction. Think of it like setting the coordinates for a journey. If you don't decide where you're going, you might spend the whole day wandering aimlessly, getting caught up in distractions, reacting to problems, and feeling like you're being pulled in 100 different directions. But when you set a clear intention, you give yourself a guide, a compass to navigate through the day. For example, if your intention is to be patient, then when challenges arise, you remind yourself to pause and respond calmly rather than reacting out of frustration. If your intention is to be focused, then when distractions come your way, you'll be more mindful about staying on track. If your intention is to bring positivity into the world, then you'll approach conversations with kindness and look for opportunities to uplift others. The key is to go beyond just thinking about your to-do list A to-do list is about tasks. Setting an intention is about character. It's about defining the energy and attitude you want to bring into your day. And when you do this consistently, day after day, it begins to shape who you are at a fundamental level. Now you might be wondering, how do you actually practice this? It's simple. Before you get out of bed in the morning, take a moment to ask yourself, how do I want to feel today? What kind of energy do I want to bring into my work, relationships, and interactions? Your intention can be a single word: focused, grateful, kind, resilient. Or it can be a short phrase like, I will be fully present in everything I do, or I will approach challenges with a calm and positive mindset. The most important part is not just setting the intention, but returning to it throughout the day. Life will test you. Stressful situations will arise, but when you have a clear intention, you'll be able to reset and realign no matter what comes your way. This simple practice is what separates people who drift through life from those who live with purpose. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about what you accomplish, it's about who you become in the process. So tomorrow morning, before you jump into the busyness of the day, take a breath and decide, who do I want to be today? Because when you set your intention, you're not just designing your day, you're designing your life. In today's world, the first thing most people do after waking up is reach for their phones. Before even getting out of bed, they are scrolling through social media, checking emails, and diving into the flood of notifications that demand their attention. Without realizing it, they have already started their day on someone else's terms, reacting instead of being intentional. But what if instead of immediately grabbing your phone, you took a deep breath, just one deep breath, a moment of stillness before the world rushes in, a moment to center yourself before your thoughts are pulled in 100 different directions. This single habit, taking a deep breath before checking your phone, might seem small, but it is incredibly powerful. It gives you control over how you start your day, rather than letting external factors dictate your mindset. When you check your phone first thing in the morning, you are instantly bombarded with information. You see messages that need responses, news updates filled with negativity, and social media posts that make you compare your life to others. Before your brain has even fully woken up, you're already experiencing stress, anxiety, or distraction. And the worst part, this becomes the foundation for the rest of your day. But when you start with a deep breath, everything changes. A deep breath signals to your brain that you are in control. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps reduce stress and anxiety. It allows you to pause, be present, and create space between waking up and diving into the chaos of the day. Breathing is one of the simplest and most effective ways to reset your nervous system. Science shows that deep breathing increases oxygen flow to the brain, improves focus, and reduces cortisol levels, the hormone responsible for stress. This means that something as basic as taking a deep breath in the morning can literally set the tone for a calmer, more focused day. Now, let's take this a step further. Instead of just one deep breath, imagine spending the first few minutes of your morning in stillness, breathing deeply, feeling grateful, and setting your intention for the day. This doesn't have to be a long, complicated routine. It can be as simple as this. The moment you wake up, instead of reaching for your phone, take one deep breath. Inhale slowly through your nose, hold for a second, and exhale through your mouth. Feel your body waking up naturally. Express gratitude. Think of one thing you're grateful for: your health, a loved one, a new opportunity, or simply the fact that you get to experience another day. Set your intention. Ask yourself, how do I want to show up today? Do you want to be patient, focused, kind, confident? Setting an intention helps guide your actions throughout the day. Move gently. Instead of jumping out of bed in a rush, take your time. Stretch, drink a glass of water, and ease into your morning with awareness. By starting your day in this way, you are no longer a slave to your phone, your emails, or external distractions. You are creating a powerful foundation for the rest of the day, one rooted in mindfulness, clarity, and control. Think about it this way: the way you start your morning determines the energy you carry into the rest of your day. If you start with stress, you'll likely experience more stress. If you start with focus, gratitude, and intention, you'll carry that mindset forward. It's a simple habit, but one that can transform your life. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, resist the urge to grab your phone. Instead, take a deep breath. That single breath can be the difference between a day that controls you and a day that you control. Most people live their lives in a constant state of reaction. They wake up, check their phones, respond to emails, rush through their morning routine, and dive straight into work without ever pausing to ask themselves one of the most important questions: what is my purpose today? This single question has the power to shift your entire perspective. It moves you from reacting to life's demands to taking control of your own direction. It reminds you that every single day is an opportunity to grow, contribute, and make an impact. When you don't have a clear sense of purpose, it's easy to feel lost. You go through the motions, working, completing tasks, fulfilling obligations, but at the end of the day, you don't feel fulfilled. You might even wonder, what did I actually accomplish today? Did anything I did really matter? This feeling comes from a lack of intentionality. But when you start each day by defining your purpose, everything changes. You wake up with clarity, knowing why you're doing what you're doing. You move through your day with intention, making decisions that align with your goals and values. And at the end of the day, you feel a sense of accomplishment, not just because you were productive, but because you lived with meaning. The good news is, finding your purpose for the day doesn't have to be complicated. It's not about having some grand, life-changing mission every single morning. It's simply about taking a moment to ask yourself, what is important today? What do I want to focus on? How do I want to show up in the world? For some days, your purpose might be something big, working on a major project, making progress toward a goal, or making a tough but important decision. Other days, your purpose might be simpler, showing kindness to others, staying present with your loved ones, or taking care of your mental and physical well-being. The key is to start your day by setting a clear intention. Here's how you can do it. Take a moment of stillness. Before diving into your to-do list, pause. Take a deep breath. Give yourself a few moments of quiet before the demands of the day take over. Ask yourself the right questions. Instead of immediately thinking about all the things you have to do, ask yourself, what do I want to get out of today? What is one thing that would make today meaningful? Define your focus. Choose one key priority for the day. This could be a task, a mindset, or a way of showing up in the world. It could be something as simple as, today I will stay focused and avoid distraction. Or, today I will be present with my family. Write it down. When you physically write down your purpose for the day, you reinforce it in your mind, keep it somewhere visible, a journal, a sticky note, or even a reminder on your phone, so you can come back to it throughout the day. Check in with yourself. As the day goes on, pause and ask yourself, am I still aligned with my purpose? If you find yourself getting off track, take a moment to reset and refocus. Living with purpose doesn't mean every day has to be groundbreaking. It simply means that every day has meaning. And when you string together enough purposeful days, you create a life of fulfillment, achievement, and impact. Think about the most successful, inspiring people you know. They aren't just busy, they are intentional. They don't just react to life, they create their lives. And it all starts with something as simple as deciding every morning, what is my purpose today? So tomorrow, before you get lost in the rush of the day, take a moment, breathe, reflect, and set a purpose for yourself. Because the difference between an average day and an extraordinary one isn't what happens to you, it's how you choose to approach it.